Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 284 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Yeah! Today, recording day is Saturday, December 23rd, 2022, for broadcast on Friday, December 29th, 2023. Why did I say 2022?
I don't know. Did you go back?
Did I say 2022?
I think you did.
Yes, because it's
Do you have
December.
a time machine? Then you didn't tell me about it?
Let's try that again. Today is recording day, Saturday, December 23rd, 2023, for broadcast on Friday, December 29th, 2023, which means that will be our last broadcast of this year. When we next see you, it'll be a brand new year. So, hey, it'll be fun. The end of this one, technologically wise, has been a little frustrating. So out with the old and in with you. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver, eh? And with me as always is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. We are going to continue our little series of chats about the year in review today for you. A big thank you goes to our podcast founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. But before we go into part 3 of our review, let's do the most important thing we do on the show, and that's ask Mr. Grizzly, how's your mental health doing today? And I have a feeling it's similar to mine right now.
Yeah, the thing is that the mental health is probably actually pretty good.
Yes.
It's just, I know it's not 100% though, because I got so frustrated with my tech today that my fuse got really short. Like this computer, I almost took it up to the roof and threw it off.
The microphone stand almost got the discus treatment. Yeah.
And I've said, we talked about this earlier. I'm in the workplace. I'm chill as can be when tech doesn't work. Just, hey, no problem. We'll get it figured out. I got it fixed. No problem. I'll take care of it. But when it's equipment that I've paid for myself, I've invested thousands of dollars into, and we have a timeline, and we got to get online, and we got to get a show done, and it doesn't work. Yeah, that's when I lose my temper. And a person can screw up horribly. And I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll fix it. It's okay. Made a mistake. It's fine. You're human. You're going to make mistakes. It's how you learn. See, computer technology, though, is not supposed to learn from mistakes. It's just supposed to freaking work. This crashed about 4 times in a 15-minute, 20, 30, well, maybe 30-minute span while I kept rebooting it and rebooting it and rebooting it before we started to record today. So, yeah, let's just say this pint of Guinness will be followed by a pint of Guinness.
I wish I had a pint of Guinness going on right now. I should have thought of that. For me, it was like yesterday, I would turn the computer on, and then the mic would work, then turn the camera on, and the camera would work, and I'd plug in the light, and then the camera would turn off. And then I'd go to unplug the camera to rejig it, and then the light would fall off the stand and land on the ground. And that
Yeah.
happened like 2 or 3 times. Today, it was the microphone stand. I was trying to bring the mic a little closer, and the whole thing just came off where it was attached. So I grabbed the microphone stand and I'm trying to put it back, and I can't because the mic is heavy and the thing
Yeah.
is damn long. So I got my Beaver sweetie to come and help me. And now we finally figured out, okay, the thing that screws on to the back, the fastener, separates from the mic so that you can do it individually.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
Oh, yeah, it just lifts right out.
Yeah, so we figured that out, but as we're doing that, again, we knock the light out, and as I'm doing that, for some reason, my hand pushed the button that shut the monitor off. And it was just like, it was like one thing leads to another. You know, it's like you got a glass of water that's about to spill, so you try and stop it like this, and you prevent the water from spilling, but you knock the computer off the table or something, and then you go and pick that up, and you bop your head, and it's like, come on, man.
It was like Home Alone is what it was. Home Alone. So here's the thing.
Except in this case, it's Homo Alone.
I'm just... Okay, that was good. That was good. So here's where my frustration lies. I just built a new studio.
You just put it together. Nothing should be falling apart yet.
It'll all be working. No. And I mean, in your case, you just got your computer fixed and you're using the new mic and the new setup that we put in a while ago, but the software isn't even operational yet. So,
right.
Okay.
And if I turn on, we tried that yesterday because you said, like, show me the software so we can adjust the levels. And when I turn on the software, the sound disappears.
Yeah. There's settings.
And I have to reboot the entire computer.
Yeah. So let's just say we'll have a Zoom session sometime next week when you get back, and we'll get it all squared away. Either that, or I'm gonna have to rent a car, drive down there, and figure this shit out because
we do this all the time.
Yeah. You know what it is though? It's like I'm this close. I'm literally this close. I've been debating it the other day because I talked to a couple other friends of mine who said, well, you probably need a new computer. I go, yeah, but to do what I need to do, I need a gaming rig.
Yep.
That's $2,500 minimum. Yep. I don't have $2,500 to spend on a computer system. So somebody else suggested, well, you could probably get a Mac Mini that's about a year or two old and it would do the job. I'm like, would it though? So I did some reading and it looks like that may very well be the case. It's still $1,000 though. So that I don't have. I mean, it's Christmas time. I just bought gifts and, and somebody said, well, you sold your car. Yeah, I did sell my car, which got me out of debt.
Right.
It's not like I'm sitting on a pile of cash here.
You bent the curve, right?
Yes.
Yes. You bend the curve for vaccines. You bend the curve for climate change. And when you're trying to get out of debt, you're also bending a curve.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to save money right now, but Christmas time is the worst time of the year to try and save money.
Yeah.
So,
and then you get the new year coming where everything resets, right? Like your health insurance, they have resets. And if you've got like health insurance, your premium's set back to zero and, you're starting that again. You got in my case, taxes, the housing taxes, whatnot, which are done by May or June. And then the second half of the year is always way better financially than the first half of the year, because the first half of the year you got insurance premiums, you got your income taxes, you have your municipal taxes, you got your RSP contribution. That's all coming out at the same time. So I'm always really in debt. Like I borrow against stuff until like July. And like this, about August I break even, and then September, October, November, December are great.
To start to rebuild,
but it starts again. But I'm always somewhat in the hawk. Somewhere until like July or August every year. Now I know it's an annual thing and this is the way it happens. So now I don't panic anymore. But in the first few years when I was starting, I would always panic. I was like, gee, how am I so much? I've got more money coming in than ever before. When you graduate from university,
it's going out quicker.
It's going out faster. It's like, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, when I figured out, it's like, okay, I have to absolutely look at my budget as an entire annual thing. and not just a month-to-month thing. Because if it's month-to-month thing, the first 7 months I panic.
Well, then I have to redo, pardon me, my budget because, it changed, but I've been so busy I've not dedicated the time, pardon me, to doing it. And there are a few services that I pay for this show, and a couple of them, the price just went up from $15 a month to $42, and I'm like, whoa, hang on a second here. No, I cannot be affording that.
Yeah.
It's like $500 a year. No.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll have to make some judicious choices, I think.
Yes. It is a really good piece of software that I use that helps with the editing. It helps clean up a lot of things, and it eliminates mistakes and this and that and the other thing. And this is for the audio version, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for interviews, if we record an interview, I'll go in and I'll correct, little errors, and it also cleans up the audio as well. But $42, whoa, hang on a second now. That I can't. No. I can't justify that. I mean, the pod page, thank goodness, the Ray girl paid for that because that was $250 that I just couldn't afford. So this is like $500 plus I had to increase it's like, I sound like I'm whining. I'm complaining with a full plate. I really am, but I'm trying to save money. So I don't want to be spending more.
Right. I hear you.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh boy.
But thank you. Once again, thank you to the Ray girl, the fabulous Ray girl, because she hooked us up with 1 year of Podpage. Did a light just go out, or did I just have a fit? It just got darker in here. Maybe I'm blacking out or something. But thanks to the Ray girl for taking care of that for us for the year. It helps tremendously because, like I said, every time I turn around, it's another service I got to pay for. I'm like, oh, I mean, our starting and ending credits. I built that in a specific software that I have to pay for everything on. Well,
right.
And the licensed music that I paid for every single show that I've used recently, I have to go in and complain.
Mm-hmm.
All of our new stuff like this, that's not a problem anymore because thankfully Paul wrote something for us.
Yeah.
But
we're going to have to make a little adjustment to the opening credits.
Yeah,
I finally figured...
Actually, it's up on my desktop.
Yeah, I finally figured out what he meant because he's been trying to tell me.
No, I knew what he meant.
How it's not
I knew what he meant.
Okay,
I just didn't at the time.
I couldn't figure it out, but when I saw it today, it's like, oh, that's what he meant. Okay, now the light went on.
Yeah, no, I knew exactly what he meant. I haven't had the time to do it. So I'm making changes and adjustments over here on another screen while we're doing this. And I'm trying to multitask because I have a lot of stuff that has to be done before we take our break. And even though people are watching this on Friday, December 29th,
right?
I've got a mountain of work in front of me. And
well, yeah,
because in 1 hour I have to get ready to go to the hockey game.
Well, yeah, like for us, it's December 23rd, right? Like
yes.
we're trying to like pack our bags to get over to see family, right? It's we're in the when we're recording at the time we're recording, we're in the pre-Christmas rush when everybody's going nuts. And as I keep on saying, I do not know what it is, but everybody is so damn edgier than usual. I know that pre-Christmas makes some people edgy, but this year it's like, man, could you people lay off?
You know, I'm genuinely wondering about this, and tell me your thoughts. I think the weather has a lot to do with it.
Because we don't have
it's not Christmas-like weather.
It doesn't feel cheerful.
No. Like if we had, 30, 40 centimeters of snow on the ground, it would reflect the Christmas lights that people have up, and it would give you that sort of boost right around Christmas time. We don't have it.
Nope.
So it doesn't feel like Christmas.
That's true. That may have something to do with it. I think you might be onto something.
It's because it's our even
subliminally. I think you might be onto something.
Somebody, like so many people don't like winter, but they like snow at Christmas because it's sort of always the thing we've had. If you've grown up in Canada, even people who don't celebrate Christmas appreciate the lights and how they reflect off the snow and how the snow makes it a little bit brighter, even though it gets dark at 4 p.m. We don't have the snow right now.
Yep.
So it really is,
and even during the day, the sun, the twinkling on,
and we're not getting it.
I think
it's psychologically affecting us because, look, as human beings, we're affected by the weather. We're affected by the lack of daylight. We're affected by things we still are only figuring out now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that might be something to do with it. And I think retail sales are down right now because it doesn't look like Christmas, right?
You might be very, very right. I hadn't thought of that, but yes, when you're talking about it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. Well, if it doesn't look like Christmas,
It doesn't feel like Christmas.
it's like we're saying, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Really?
I get it if you live in a southern climate where you don't get snow, but this is, in Canada, and actually, no matter where you live in Canada at this time of the year, there's always a light dusting somewhere. Even in Vancouver, they'll get a little bit. I mean, and of course they've got Grouse Mountain right in the city, so if they want to go skiing, it's right there. They've got Whistler, the Rockies, it's all there. And Alberta, it was 8 degrees, I think, at Edmonton yesterday, 12 degrees in Calgary.
And they're calling, I think, for 16 or something.
And they're freaking out right now because they're getting zero precipitation. They're like, we're going to have a problem in the spring when farmers go to irrigate because there's no water, because there's no snow. And that means the fields are dry, and wildfire season next year is going to be unbelievable.
I was going to say it's going to be lit, but that might be a bad joke.
That's not a bad pun, though. But,
bad pun. Yeah, like here, my friend Pierre sent me this. He says, yeah, you know what? If the trend continues, we're going to definitely have a white Christmas this year. That's literally all the snow. There is more snow by the hockey arena 3 blocks down from the Zamboni,
Yeah.
than there is anywhere on the ground.
Yeah, that's it's weird, right?
It is. It's very, very weird.
Now, and we've had green Christmases in the past.
Yeah.
We have. Just a few years back, like I said, it was 20 degrees on Christmas Eve. So I went down, sat on a patio with my sister and brother-in-law and had a beer in a T-shirt because when will I ever do that again? Probably never. And I had hoped at the time, that would be as warm as it would ever get. And it's not going to be warm here tomorrow, but it's going to be like, I think, 5. Well, technically speaking, for that time of the year, it is warm. It's -3 right now, but I think tomorrow it's going up to +5. So, what is happening?
Here's that thing I was talking about from Max Fawcett. It's like, yep, totally normal stuff for Calgary. Sunday, December 24th, 2 degrees Celsius. Monday, December 25th, 4 degrees Celsius. Tuesday, December 26th, 13 degrees Celsius. Wednesday, December 27th, 15 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, that is not normal. That is not normal for
-2 to
Alberta
-14.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, look at the normal -14, normal low. We'll get like a high of 15. That's 29 degrees off.
Yeah.
It's almost like a bath.
Yeah, that's not good. It's not good. It's not good for the ecosystem. It's not good for farmers. It's not good all around. I mean, currently right now in Ottawa, it's -3, feels like -7. Feels like -7 because the humidity is 73%. Now, this is Saturday, December 23rd at what time is it right now? I don't even know what the time is. It's 3:54 p.m.
Yeah.
So basically 4 o'clock on Saturday, December 23rd in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, Canada's capital, it is -3.
Yep.
That is not normal.
Yep. Yeah. All right.
And look, our high next Wednesday, the high 6. 6.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I know. It's really weird.
It's weird.
Okay. The last few days we've been talking about people. I'd like to talk about some stories today, and maybe if we have a chance, we can get to more people. But I was wondering, Mr. Grizzly, in terms of our domestic political news story of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Got lots of choices here. All this reporting about cost of living and affordability.
Yeah.
The whole homelessness issue.
I was going to go there. Skippy filming people living in tents in Vancouver saying, Justin Trudeau has done this.
Yeah. And we can even say homelessness / addiction.
Yes.
Definitely the wildfires.
Oh, yeah.
It was the year of the strike.
Yes. But I actually was on board with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because workers are getting,
They don't necessarily have to be bad stories.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's just the news stories. And then, of course, the announcement that the government being led by Premier Doug Ford is under investigation by the RCMP.
Shall we sing the song again? The 12 days of Christmas. On the 12th day of Christmas, my premier gave to me 12
laws reversing,
11 lands of swap and 10, lychees leaping 9, parks up paving 8,
stickers sticking.
Sure.
7 notwithstanding 6 wait times.
$5
bucks
a
of
beer.
beers. 4 fancy spas, 3 highways, 2
2
fire
fire
days.
days and a call
Call
from the
RCMP.
RCMP.
Ding, 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 ding. I couldn't find a note to get pitch on there.
5 golden toques.
2 turtlenecks. And a beer.
On
a tree.
my knee. A beer on my knee.
Yes, there you go.
Remember that? That's Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Oh, man. So, for you, Mr. Grizzly, you could also have a write-in if you want, but of those 5, is there one that kind of struck you as the biggest one, the story of the year?
You know, as I think about it, I think despite all the terrible humans in government in this country, in the Conservative Party who are running provinces, doing horrible things, I think monetarily speaking, the wildfires did more than Doug Ford did, which is a stretch, but they did. They displaced more people. They destroyed more homes and land. I mean, Kelowna got absolutely decimated. Was it Kelowna? Yeah, it was Kelowna. I was going to say almost Kamloops there, but no, it wasn't Kamloops. It was Kelowna.
Yeah.
Was Kelowna?
And then there was the couple. There's one town. I guess I can remember it. Northwest Territories when we had your friend on.
Oh yes. She was in England at the time, and she lives in Yellowknife, and she
but
had to fly
completely gone.
out. Yeah, wiped out completely.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I think you may be right too, and it goes hand in hand with us talking about the wildfire information officers as being our non-elected political actors of the year, given the quality of information and the good job that they've done.
And then you get silly members of parliament for the Conservative Party who go, well, the carbon tax didn't stop the wildfires or the hurricanes.
Yeah.
That's not.
It's not supposed to.
It's not
what it's supposed to.
I'm like, are you being purposely obtuse, or are you that stupid? I really.
Some days I wonder if it's obtuse or stupid.
Seriously. Seriously, it's somebody like that. I just want to come here, smack.
Yeah, but it's as Laura Babcock told us. It's based on what Laura Babcock told us. It's definitely obtuse, not stupid, and obtuse on purpose.
Intentionally obtuse. Yes.
Intentionally obtuse, pretending you are stupid in order to rage bait and get clicks and likes and whatnot, and press that fear button and press that emotional button that makes your brain bypass your logic center and just open up your wallet.
And going for the low code at the same token, the lowest common denominator, really going to people's guttural fears. And that's where populism comes from, is fear. It's, man, I just, exasperated all the damn time. It's got to be, we got to get a t-shirt on that. ... exasperated all the damn time. ...
Yep. In terms of our international story, I'm sure that there's something that I've missed that's really big for some reason. I have a feeling there's something I missed because it can't just be these things.
But been so many, man.
So much. But again, the election of Javier Milei in Argentina, what's going on in Israel and Gaza, the war in Ukraine is still a huge story.
Yes.
And the Trump trials in particular, because, one, there's so many of them.
Yeah, that's the big part, right? That's the big one. That's the big one right there.
And while in many other countries, like for example, like France, there have been leaders that have gone to court and been sentenced. In the United States, when it comes to a president, this is new. Right now, they're still trying. He's still trying to debate that there's such thing as presidential immunity, which is not a thing, and that one man is above the law in a country that keeps on telling everybody that no man's above the law.
I think they do have like a presidential immunity when you're in office for certain things.
But that's only in office. Well, yeah, but you know the origins of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's when Richard Nixon was about to be impeached on all that kind of stuff.
I'm not a crook.
And Spiro Agnew, his vice president, turns out was also a crook. but they weren't crooking together. They were each crooking individually. So
Yeah.
he didn't want any of the blowback, so he had that OLC memo. And literally, it's only a memo. It's not even a judicial decision stating that, the vice president sure can be tried, but not the president. And everybody is like taking that as gospel, as if it actually is law. The only thing it would take to reverse that is somebody else writing another memo. Seriously, that's the only thing standing. He basically sold his vice president down the river. If you watch, it's Rachel Maddow had a special 6-part series. Oh, I wish Bagman, I think it was called, on that.
I did
Specifically,
hear something about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, but I did. You're jogging a memory with me when you talk about it.
yeah, I believe so. I believe it was called Bagman, where she was talking about Bagman, the wild crimes, audacious cover-up, and spectacular downfall of a brazen crook in the White House, and she's talking about Spiro Agnew.
Wow.
Oh man, so but for some reason, I get this feeling that there's got to be something. Like, it couldn't have just been war and Trump or Trump-like characters, I guess. And for some reason, I just can't recall. And I've been like thinking about this for about a week. Like, what could have been another story on the international scene?
Well, I could say internationally when it comes to Beto O'Rourke and how he literally lost his stuff in a meeting when he was talking about, the school children in Texas getting gunned down with somebody with an AR-15. The police wouldn't go in to stop them, and somebody in the back laughed and chuckled, and he goes, "That might be funny to you, motherfucker, but it's not to me." And I'm like, wow. How often do somebody running for a member of Congress who wants to, that's not something you hear every day. And people applauded him for it because he's like, no, children getting gunned down by some maniac with an AR-15 and you're chuckling about it.
Yeah.
That's not funny.
The balloons.
The balloons.
All those balloons that were flying around.
Was that this year?
That was this year.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that. We got in trouble for that last time.
No,
we did. We had an episode pulled because we discussed it. So we'll just gloss that right over.
But I remember there was one thing, yes, because like the whole world was fascinated by that for a bit.
For about 2 weeks, I think, in the spring, if memory serves. But yeah, we got a violation from YouTube about that, so we're not going to discuss it. And here's the weird part.
Yes.
They said, "Well, you spread anti-vaccination messages." And I'm like, what? We were talking about possible spy balloons from a country. How?
Yeah. It's weird.
Look, I don't know what the algorithm does, but that AI needs to be updated because the shit that ain't making sense.
The algorithm.
Spy balloons from a country in Southeast Asia, but they thought we said something negative about vaccines. I have 6 shots. You have 6 shots. We're encouraging people to get their next shots.
Yeah. At the end of every show, pretty much, we tell people, "Yay, get your XBB, get your flu shot, get your."
We follow the guidelines of the World Health Organization and
NACI and Health Canada, and I mean that is the only information we give. And on top of that, just like we had on the other show, when the government of Alberta was taking information about vaccines off the website, like please put more actual scientific verified information out there to help us make
an informed decision.
So how anybody could watch one of our episodes and say we're providing some vaccine misinformation is really mind-boggling.
Well, and
I used to work for Health Canada.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how they're coming up with it. I don't get it. Don't understand. I don't get it.
Nope, neither do I. All right. The most oversold story or narrative of the year. The 75,266.4 articles about will Justin go? When is Justin going? Should Justin go?
Yeah.
The equal amount of articles hand in hand about Pierre being inevitable.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you see? I highlighted the Terry DeMonte interview with the Prime Minister. Terry DeMonte and Justin Trudeau are friends and have been for like almost 30 years, I think.
Mhm.
So they do a year-end interview, and it was
It's
funny
it's
because
like a chat, almost like ours,
it's like the
more than
pub
an
chat,
interview.
very similar. And they were going back and forth, and he's like, "Do I call you Prime Minister because you're Justin to me, but you're the Prime Minister?" But it was kind of funny, like they were just two friends having a beer and having a chat. And I watched it, and the way he kind of stuck to his guns, going, "Yeah, they think I'm going to step down. I'm taking a walk in the sneakers." That's not happening. There's more that needs to be done, and I'm going to stick around to do it. I'm like, yeah, I don't think they know who they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And look, again, I've never voted for the man. I don't live in his riding. But here's the thing. As Senator Patrick Brazeau has said, underestimate him at your own peril.
Mhm. I liked the part where when it was early on in the interview when he was talking about, you said that you're starting to like the job or get the
Mhm.
feel of the job, and the Prime Minister sort of made the precision that it's not so much that he's starting to enjoy the gig, um, but he's starting like to feel that now he really does have a good grasp on it
Mhm.
and what it is that he can do and what it is that he can't do. And you know talking about stuff like, well, when a minister goes out and says something, do you turn around and says, well, there are certain files that, yes, as the Prime Minister, I have my
Mhm.
hands in, but for most of them, it's like, no, I let them do that. And sometimes I see something, they're like, oh, gee, I'm going to have to go clean that up.
Which I thought was really poignant because he's not the dictator that many like to say he is. And I'm trying to get as many people as I can to watch that to understand. Like, no, he lets his ministers do their job. When they screw up, yeah, he's got to go in and clean it up. But it doesn't happen often because most of the people in charge of the big files, I think he would be honest enough to admit they're smarter than him.
Yeah, I think he's honest enough to admit it as well.
That's what I'm saying. And
Yeah,
I think he would admit that. Look,
yeah.
Melanie, Anita, Christia, Sean, come on. They're all like rock stars
You
at what
don't
they
have to
do.
know everything. You just have to know who knows and be confident enough to put them in there.
Well, and
That's
uh,
what a good manager does.
have you ever worked in management?
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
was the
I didn't
director
know if you had or not
when
because
I went.
I
Yeah,
did for many years. And one of the things about being a good manager is you find your strongest people and let them run with whatever they're doing. Micromanaging your employees
mm,
or your coworker never works well,
never works.
ever.
And
They're adults.
managing geography rather than managing people also never works.
Exactly. They're adults. Give them, let them in. Here's your file. You take care of this. Just let's meet once a week to have a discussion, or if you need anything, that's it.
Yep.
You're an
Yeah.
adult. You can run this. You're in charge of it. Just report back to me. Let me know how things are going. That's all. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not complicated.
And here's some like general guidance of the general direction we need you to go to make sure that what you're doing fits in their overall plan. But
Yeah,
after that,
but you're like, this is the goal we need to achieve.
yeah,
Okay. And to get from here to here, you need to go along this path. How you get there is up to you. But we need
yep,
to get here. You figure out a way to do it.
yep.
And I'm here
Uh,
to support you.
yep. I really liked that interview.
So did I.
Yep.
I went into it thinking like, oh, I don't know. I just don't know. Is it going to be a fluff job? And it
Mhm.
wasn't. It was two friends having a conversation.
Yeah, it wasn't like I'm going to challenge you and try to nail you to the wall
No.
type thing. But there was depth.
Yeah. It wasn't like Rex Murphy and Pierre Poilievre.
Yeah, I mean, he had to reflect.
Yes. Yeah.
He had to do some introspection in there,
Mhm.
right?
And
So we
again,
have
it wasn't a hard hitting interview. It was a
no,
conversation between two friends. But Terry DeMonte, who I've respected as a broadcaster for decades, because growing up in Ottawa, Shom FM, 97.7, the spirit of Montreal, rock and roll. He was the morning man, and I used to get it on cable and listen to it in the morning. Sometimes, not all the time, but so I've always had a great deal of respect for Terry DeMonte, and he is a level-headed individual who just point blank is going to have a conversation with his buddy, and he's going to hold him to task if he feels he needs to, and he did in a couple of different aspects. But it was a good interview. It was a good. Would you? I don't even. Is it an? It was a good chat.
yep, yep. It was good chat. I agree. So the Will Justin Go and Pierre's Inevitable, they're sort of like both flip sides of the
Hmm.
coin. That's one story I thought was oversold. The whole parental rights thing,
Yeah, Jesus Christ Almighty.
totally oversold,
Yeah.
overreported, over just just let it go into the long good night, please. The whole stuff about internet censorship, all these bills, they want to censor the internet, and and
Hmm.
the whole Google thing. You can even tie in the, with all the media stuff that he always trying to buy the media and all that. When all you had to do was read the bills,
Yes.
and there was like nothing, and there was so much mileage on that. And rather than a reporter just going in and it's like saying, "Well, I've read this bill and it says this. Point to me on the doll where it says we're going to censor you."
It doesn't
Please,
say that
other
anywhere.
people are worrying about that.
No.
And then, to me, those were probably the three big ones over the course of the year. I can't think of anything else off the top that was oversold. There was just
Mhm.
way too much of it. Didn't need that much airtime. That many trees did not need to die for that
Well,
story.
uh, well, and the one thing I think was not um, was undersold.
That was the next category. So let's go. Yeah.
The one thing I think that was undersold, and there was a few things throughout the course of the past year, but I think the one the most, the biggest one, and it was they made hay of it for a couple of days, and then he went and hid out. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have an idea, but tell me more. Tell me more. Like, does
Uh,
he have a car?
well, it involved the car on the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls, and how Pierre
Yes.
Poilievre went on about how Fox News released this information, and then he tried to say no, it was CP. It's like, yeah, CTV did say it may be a possible terrorist attack 15 minutes after he rose in the House of Commons and said it. So we now know that the leader of the loyal opposition gets his news from Fox.
Yep. And essentially, for all intents and purposes, helps terrorists because what he did spread fear.
Yes, it did.
And the reason he did it was for personal political gain.
That's it. He didn't care. Didn't care at all. What are you going to do to bring home security? What the fuck does that even mean? What the fuck does that mean? Every time I hear that slogan, let's bring it home. What are you bringing home?
Call in Red Green and have him do that thing to your mouth with duct tape would certainly help.
Handyman's secret weapon, duct tape. Remember, if the ladies don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy.
In terms of the undertold stories, um, the three that I had in mind is anything with regard to that disability benefit. Information
Mm,
was so hard to find.
yes, and they have a lot of work to do.
hmm Everything about the essential. I know that people are going through a tough time individually, microeconomically, but the whole macroeconomic miracle,
Hmm.
the way that our economy is being diversified, the way that we avoided recession, the way that inflation is coming down, not fast enough, not great. That the housing market has managed to cool a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, the whole macroeconomic picture that's being totally undersold because of the big story of affordability and cost of living. It's like nobody wants to hear it, nobody wants to report on it, nobody would believe it anyway, because I'm not feeling it in my life. But the whole macroeconomic story,
Hmm.
definitely undersold. But the big one for me, because I thought there would be so much ink about it every day that we wouldn't be able to avoid it. Tamara Leach and Chris Barber, the
Yeah,
trial.
yeah. There's been very little about it.
Nothing.
Yeah, very, very little. And
I
it's
thought like
happening.
every single day of the trial, I thought there would be like something on the news. This is what happened today, given
Stuff in
where
Twitter from people attending the trial, but really very little reporting.
yep, given the coverage of the actual convoy, given the coverage that the Public Order Emergency Commission got,
Hmm.
these are the two faces. The
Hmm.
Coots trial keeps on getting delayed a bit. The thing, the people who wanted to do the plot to assassinate the RCMP officers, that keeps
About
getting
that.
pushed back. But Tamara and Chris, I mean, the only two times I've heard, three times, is the day it started, the day that there was the first break
Mm.
for a little bit, and that there
And
was a
that was it.
second break, and that they're going to they're going to start again in the new year.
Yeah, it's barely been discussed. And about that about the whole thing, I had a conversation rough conversation back and forth about a week ago with somebody saying, well, you know, everybody, there's still a bunch of them that are in prison. I'm like, no, they're not. They're all free. And he goes, what about the people in Coots? I go, aha, there's a difference. They committed crimes and had a plot to murder RCMP officers. They had the weaponry, they had the plot, they had the plans. They're charged with criminal offenses. That's different. Pat King, free. Barber, free. Tamara, free. They're all out. The Coots, the group in Coots, they're where they should be, behind bars, because they're dangerous and they had a plot to kill people. So you go to jail for that, and you don't get out until trial. And then you're only in court. And then when the day ends, you go back to your cell because they're dangerous offenders at this point. Well, I don't know if they've been declared dangerous offenders. I got to be careful with the verbiage there, because dangerous offender is actually a legal term in Canada. But they're held without bail because they're seen as a threat.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to kill if they had a plot to murder RCMP officers, that's not light.
Yep. Neat.
And there's something you need to know about the Mounties too. I know there's problems within the Mounties, but there's something you need to know about the Mounties. They will, if you were to follow through on that act, they will hunt you to the ends of the earth. The Mounties always get their man. They will hunt you to the ends of the earth to find you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not light. Even to concoct a conspiracy, a threat like that is like, well, it's not even conspiracy. It's conspiracy to commit an act of, anyway.
Yeah. All right. The worst political move of the year. Again, an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
But there's about 6 that kind of stuck with me. The whole conservative betrayal of Ukraine.
That's the number one for me.
Considering the number of years, decades they have put into fostering that relationship, they were seen as the party of Ukraine.
And they just,
which is why Michael Chung did that thing, rattling off all that stuff of the past, those 13 things and 13-point thread. But it's like, but what are you doing now?
Yeah.
What have you done for Ukraine? Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh,
what have you done for Ukraine lately?
Loves me some Miss Janet. The whole fake over thing. That was a bad move.
Terrible.
And you can tell because now he's just like thrown it and he's like just leans into the dickishness. It seems that he's even ditched the girdle, because I saw the thing from his last rally. He ditched the girdle and he has a basket of apples on the stage with him.
I did see that. And I was kind of like,
Yep, just leaning right into the dickishness. The no vote-a-thon, because as we pointed out, right, there's a difference between voting against the entire budget and voting against 130 specific line items in the budget.
Yeah, basically
right?
everything.
So when Michael Chung goes, you voted against Operation Unifier. No, we voted against the whole budget in its entirety because there were things we liked, things we didn't like, but overall, we didn't like it. You guys voted against
every single
conservatives
thing.
voted against Operation Unifier specifically in one of those 130 line items. And that was the discussion we were having after it happened. It's like, you could have voted yes to some. The whole point was to hold the votes to use up time. You could have voted no to some and yes to others, but they decided to vote no to everything.
Everything.
Just such a dumb look.
I just don't understand.
You can't statistically, it's near impossible for someone to present a budget where you object to absolutely everything in it.
Yeah, it's beyond.
Right?
Beyond
just like you wouldn't vote for everything in it. You're always voting on balance. Right?
You should be.
when it comes to the budget. The whole gun legislation screw up by the Liberals when they had it going and it was going smoothly, and then they said, "Hey, let's add these extra amendments since the moment looks good," and they pretty much tanked their bill. That was supposed to pass months ago, and it just passed before the session closed. They finally managed to mop up their mess. Voting no to school food program.
I just can't get over that one.
Yeah. And then one, it does sound a little self-serving, but it is a bad move, was the whole Canada Proud deciding to try and go after Crier Media. And now they're quite surprised that, it looks like they have more support than we thought they did. And now we're screaming because we want it to go faster, because we don't want you to raise that fewer than $2,000 that you have left to reach your goal. And
Oopsie. Can we not do this now? No, sorry, we're doing it. You started it. We're going to finish it.
You open the door, counselor.
I believe the polite manner to say that is, oh yes, Charles U. Farley. Charles U. Farley. What's short for Charles? Chuck. Chuck U. Farley.
Chuck U. Farley. Do you have one of those that's your worst political move, or something else in mind?
Like you said,
betraying Ukraine seemed to be like right as soon as I said it, it turned on the light.
I mean, that's the one for me, really. Let's go back to when Zelensky was first visiting here, and Candace Bergen stood up in the House of Commons. So it was, I think it started with Jagmeet. I think Jagmeet was the first to speak. I could be incorrect. It might have been Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister. I don't recall. Stood up and said, "Canadians will be here to support you. Canadians will be here to support you." Then Candace Bergen, "Conservatives will be here to support you." It's like, wait, what?
Do you
not see yourself as Canadians? And then Conservatives aren't supporting them. So not only do you see yourselves as not even Canadian, you're not even supporting the people you swore to support.
You're not even part of the Western collective.
No, you stand apart. Are you proud? Are you proud of yourselves? What would your mother think? Disgusting.
Jeez. Yep.
It's disgusting.
Yep. The worst political move on the provincial level. Ford fires an AG. Pretty much as soon as the AG's put in place. Mo with the notwithstanding clause. Crombie, Bonnie Crombie, saying in an interview that she probably needs to govern from the right. Now, in all fairness, I heard an interview with John Michael McGrath from TV Ontario, who says that was a question that he had actually asked her or something. And it was after, a very, very long day, and she had taken something like Lord knows how many questions, and it was like near the end, and, might have just been, you're running a marathon and you've got that last 0.2 miles, and whoops, you trip over your own foot, even though you're way in the lead, because just, you have that moment of, oh my God, I'm so tired. So it seems that there was some context behind that, she wasn't the freshest at the moment that she was answering that question, which may have opened the door to make a slip. But she did say it, and we know that story is going to follow her, because that's going to be used in clips over and over and over again.
I don't know what happened to my mic there. My mic went limp again.
Okay, oops. And then the last one was Heather Stephenson's last move in the final weeks of the campaign against Canoe.
Yeah, that was pretty horrible.
Okay. Too bad. Okay, we'll take a little break,
Yeah.
and we'll come back and we'll discuss what it is that is the worst provincial move according to both of us.
Okay, be right back.
All right.
Melos Choir and Period Instruments present our new album, Voces Feminarum, a moving array of early music by women, about and for women, from Europe to Persia. Nellis is joined by guest Santur virtuoso Sada Famini, medieval lutenist Brian Martin, and members of Kingston's Nava band on tar, setar, tanbur, and daf. From chant composed by the medieval abbess Hildegard von Bingen to Baroque works for strings, choir, and virtuosic soloists by women composers like Isabella Leonarda and Barbara Strozzi, we highlight Europe's undersung musical heroines who faced many strictures around their artistic expression. We also present 3 stunning lullabies, a medieval Armenian lullaby and 2 Sephardic lullabies, in evocative period arrangements, showing maternal love, longings, and loneliness. Hear one Sephardic mother as she complains of her adulterous husband, alongside passionate love songs about women, including Arabic Mubasha, Lama Bada Yatafana, an Iranian love song by Haleki, Bahari Del Neshin. Kingston's leading early music group, Melos Choir and Period Instruments, boldly create fresh collaborative interpretations of ancient tunes, raising up the inspiring role of women in music through history and across cultures.
And we're back. And yes, Kits, if you remember, we had an interview with Holly Gwynn Timothy, the choir director of Melos, a few weeks ago. And if you would like to pick up the album Voces Feminarum, just go to melos-earlymusic.org and you can order it there. Because democracy is something that you do, support the arts. And if you want to listen to it beforehand, you can find out on Apple and Spotify. Just look for Voces Feminarum, Melos Choir and Period Instruments, and you'll be able to listen to it and enjoy before you buy. Now, Mr. Grizzly, before we took a little break, we were talking about the worst provincial political move. Yes, and I went to make sure that there we go. A little cheers. There you go. Got myself a little Jesus juice.
I have Guinness.
There we go. So we had, So we had Doug Ford firing the AG, Scott Moe with the notwithstanding clause, Bonnie Crombie making her slip about moving right, and Heather Stephenson and the PC Party of Manitoba's final last 2-week push, making a big deal about not wanting to search the landfill and trying to remind people of Wab Canoe's past, which everybody already knew about.
Yeah, it wasn't a secret.
Seen what he's like since past that he's owned, right? And that he has clearly left behind, judging by his long track record since.
Oh, yes.
Do any of those stand out for you, or did you have something else?
I thought the dirty pool that the Conservative Party in Manitoba played was just that, dirty pool. Her wasn't the campaign run by Candice Bergen?
I believe so.
That should be telling. Former premier, former former conservative leader. Nothing progressive about that one. Former regressive conservative leader.
And I think she's mulling the idea of running.
Yes.
And we have to remember that leadership race also, somebody pointed it out to me because I had totally forgotten, but the leadership race that confirmed Heather Stephenson as being the leader. There was Shelley Glover.
Oh, yes.
Smelly Glover, if I remember correctly, who, let's be honest, I have no love for as well because she was a member of Harper's cabinet. She was a former police officer. and she would lie about people.
Yeah.
Right. But she was saying that, that leadership race was really organized in order to keep the Harperite out. So the tradition of conservative leadership races, whether provincial or federal, not being completely clean.
No.
Continues.
Not at all.
So there was some, but that was a momentary thing and was sort of forgotten. If there was an investigation into that, it was completely forgotten, much like the one to Jason Kenney with the kamikaze candidate. There was supposedly some type of investigation, but we never heard anything whatsoever. It just went into some black hole. I mean, his own party ditched him before a result of an investigation was ever made public.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how long that investigation took. Yep. I think so too. Part of me wants to say Mo with the notwithstanding clause. I'm trying to remove my personal bias as being a member of the rainbow community.
Mm-hmm.
That one. But the invocation of the notwithstanding clause for something like that is almost like on par with the first invocation of the Emergencies Act. Right? I can understand the notwithstanding clause being used for something like Bill 101, right, in Quebec, because Bill 101 didn't ban English on signs or stores. It just said that there needs to be twice as much in French or double size and type in French. Both could be present, just that French had to be more prominent because we're a predominantly Francophone society, as opposed to what François Legault was doing with the notwithstanding clause in terms of, Bill 96 and Bill 21, that there are certain jobs that you can't access if you wear ostentatious religious symbols, ostentatious as defined by him, which means that you are paying equal taxes as everyone, but you are not getting equal access to employment for having committed the cardinal sin of living what is to you an authentic life.
Mm-hmm.
That's something different. But for Bill 101, it's just, there needs to be more of this than there needs to be of that, or this bigger than that, but both can be there. Yes. In a general global context of Canada, where, yes, French is a official language, but a minority language, and one that has been faced historically with many attempts to extinguish.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Understand
many attempts over the decades.
And most applications of the notwithstanding clause have basically been from governments, getting out of litigation and that type of stuff. We want to sue you. Oh, well, you can't do that. We're applying the notwithstanding clause there. But this is on people, and the youngest people that we have, again, for having committed the cardinal sin of saying, hey, this is how I would prefer you refer to me as.
Yeah, terrible. I just don't know.
It's so incredibly overhanded and high-handed and unnecessary. It's overkill.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, again, all for political posturing and points and donations and clicks and all of that. So I can't tell if it's my own personal bias as a member of the rainbow community, or if it just really is that much worse than everything else. But then again, being in an election campaign saying, we had to take a firm stand on sending the message to the Indigenous community that it is okay to dump bodies in a landfill because we won't come looking.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh, right? I mean...
And like I said, the daughters of some of the ladies that were dumped there,
yes,
making the point very clearly, they are not trash.
Yeah, they're human
and
beings.
Nobody should have to go to a landfill in order to be able to have a moment that most of us have at a cemetery or at a place that someone has chosen where they wanted their ashes scattered. That was important to them.
Yes.
Like, how about you try it for a while, Premier Stephenson? Why don't you go to a landfill to pay your respects to people you've lost
not even lost, people were taken from you. So see how you like it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right? And it's like a little bit of an aside, but recently in Ontario, when we're talking about the homeless thing, there was a very cold night in Toronto not too long ago, and the city of Toronto decided that they weren't going to open their warming shelters because it wasn't cold enough. And it's like, how about we ask the people who have spent a December 18th on the street in Toronto before what is considered cold enough to open a warming center, and not you who gets to go back home
and sit in a nice warm house with a nice warm bed and a nice warm meal.
There seems to be like this disconnect
a little bit
between realities that people are living and what a lot of people who are making decisions for them or in their name that affect them, who are not going to have that experience of life at all. Oh, it can't be that bad. It's not that cold. There are some busted empathy chips here.
A little bit, maybe, you think?
A little bit. All right. Best political move. This is whether it's provincial or federal. Moving Sean Fraser to housing.
Yes, I think that was by far the best, honestly.
Seamus O'Regan Jr.'s positions consistently over several strike actions with regard to management of strikes, actually letting the processes played out and getting good deals. The NDP making an interesting trade-off that it would push back its deadline for pharmacare in order to get anti-scab legislation passed. That's because Jagmeet Singh took some political heat for that one.
Oh, yeah.
For like sort of flipping on pharma. But of pharma and anti-scab legislation, the anti-scab legislation was probably the one that was most impactful in this specific year.
Agreed.
Given that it was the year of the strike. And the passage of the dental care program.
Big program. Something that will benefit millions of Canadians who don't have any coverage right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's big. It really is.
It's big. So, to you, Mr. Grizzly, what's your best political move? One of those four, or something else?
I think about this, and I think the housing is monumentally bigger.
Okay.
But I think the dental care program is better for Canadians in long term because of, good dental hygiene, good dental health will prevent people from developing other, issues later in life, which will have them hospitalized, which is, look, let's sell this to progressive conservative. If you get people's teeth taken care of, it's going to save you more money now than it will in the future. And like, what? Oh yeah, you'll save more money now. Also, if you put people in houses, it saves more money. Also, if, again, progressive policies that actually move the country forward. I think monumentally the housing, Sean Fraser, and what the federal government is doing by bypassing the provinces and going directly to the municipalities, who are the ones who actually build them anyway. All the provinces do is just give them money, and they've done nothing of the sort lately. So I think, monumentally, yes, but overall, I think the dental program is probably the biggest thing, in all honesty.
Right. Well, on the dental program, again, Max Fawcett from the National Observer had pointed out something a few days ago. And he said, beyond parody, yet exceptionally on brand for the National Post. They had an editorial on it, and they were raising a specific point. And this is a point that it's sort of in that ballpark of we can't do this because some people might not need it.
Yeah.
This is a kissing cousin of that type of argument that's also a go-to fallacious logical fallacy that is often argued by conservatives. Mr. Grizzly, if you would put it up and read it, please.
1 second, sorry. Beyond parody and yet exceptionally on brand for the National Post. Moral hazard is yet another problem with the government's dental insurance program. By protecting people against the costs of harmful behavior, government will produce more of it. A great many dental problems are largely preventable. Diligent toothbrushing, flossing, and avoiding sugary drinks reduces significantly the incidence of cavities and tooth decay. By socializing dental costs, the government dental program effectively will redistribute income from people who diligently brush and floss to people who neglect their oral health and consume large quantities of cola beverages. This is not wise. What the?
I know, right? Okay, first, let's talk about the fact that the poorest of the poor, some people will live in food deserts. That's more of a U.S. thing than Canada thing in terms of food deserts. But the poorest of the poor, we do have them. What are the foods that they can afford?
Usually the junk foods.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
Yeah.
It's no secret. I have family in small town New Brunswick. And as it turns out, 2 liters of cola is about half the cost of a liter of milk. Now, I don't drink milk because I'm allergic to dairy, but which one is actually probably healthier out of the 2? I'm going to let you ponder that for a moment. Do you know? Can you guess?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And this is why people eat junk food, because they're hungry and this is what they can afford.
Yeah. And it's like the argument, if we protect people against the costs of their harmful behavior, government will produce more of it. You know what the opposite of moral hazard is, Mr. Grizzly? Moral imperative. What about the fact that if someone knows that quality dental care will be available should they need it, it inspires them to take care of their teeth. What if there's no dental care, so what's the point of flushing and brushing?
I know what you meant.
Of flossing and brushing, because even if I do that, and even the best of us who do it still will get a cavity now and then. Might still have to get a root canal one day. Might still have to get a crown one day. So if people who do it all the time still need care, and I can't get care, what's in it for me? But if you know it's there, then maybe you do it.
They're being so dismissive because, let's face it, not everybody is genetically predisposed to having healthy teeth. No matter, you might have the healthiest diet, you might brush and floss and mouthwash and do all the things, and still, the guy I used to work with had really nice teeth, but he said they're like chalk. I go, what do you mean? And then he opened his mouth and he looked. He goes, I've got no back teeth. They just disintegrate. I'm like, what? He goes, it's genetic. So what about somebody like that?
Right. I just really. Protecting people against their harmful behavior is going to encourage them to do more of it. What kind of bullcrap is that? Anyway. Yeah. All right. I was going to talk about a couple. You know what? Let's do this one because we talk a lot about Canadian Zoo. Yeah, Canadian Zoo do us proud. So. To end up on a positive note.
Okay.
What is...
I'm down with that. Last show of the year and all, right?
Our Canadian sports or cultural moment of the year.
You know, for me personally, or do you want to just what you think it is? Well, personally, I think it was the breakout of Summer McIntosh. For me personally. And let's not forget about Maggie and her 9 medals at the Pan Am Games.
Yeah, basically the whole swim team because Leendo came into his own at the moment,
and the men are doing it now too.
Yeah,
the women led by example, and the fellas are like, guys, we got to pull up our socks here because these ladies are leaving us in the dust.
As was the case with soccer.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, I agree.
Canadian women kick ass.
Oh, yeah, they do. They absolutely do. So,
World
yeah, the
beaters.
Canadian swimmers, and sports-wise, it also coincides with the story I look forward to most next year, which is the Summer Olympics.
Yes, and they will be the Summer Olympics. If if everything works out, if she's able to stay healthy, doesn't get injured, and keeps going at the way they will be the Summer Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It was like Lindsey Vonn when she was in Vancouver. They called it the Vancouver Olympics.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So definitely that. Of course, we had some other great moments. Personal bias. The Fed Cup team winning the Billie Jean King World Cup of Tennis, following the men last year who won the Davis Cup.
Yeah, we're
Yay,
really
ladies.
punching above our weight in every sport right
Yes.
now as a nation.
Nick Taylor winning the Canadian Open of golf on home soil after it hadn't been won here, I think, in over 60 years.
I think it might even be longer than that, but either way, a very long time.
Yeah. And again, someone from Crier Media, right?
Was there to capture the whole thing.
Capturing the whole moment, even having his video picked up by NBC.
I thought that was really cool.
That was a really cool moment. Our world champions in track and field, particularly in the throwing events.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, the decathlon.
The hammer events, the hammer throw, and the dude with the, I love this style. I'm like, bro, not what I would do, but you're doing the Burt Reynolds, right? Burt Reynolds with a mullet, if memory serves.
Absolutely, absolutely. And our Paralympic goalball team, who at the Parapanams defeated the United States to get their spot at the Paralympics in Paris to come.
Quite very cool.
So to me, those are the big stories this year. So big kudos to everyone. All right, Mr. Grizzly, do we have a show?
We do indeed, sir.
Oh, and on the cultural side, I do have to mention, can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the person I think that has the most Grammy Award nominations, or one of the most, is actually a producer. So the name wouldn't ring a bell, but a producer from Canada who was all over those songs, the biggest songs of the year. And I think he got 7 Grammy nominations or something.
That's Max Martin territory.
Serban Ganea is his name. So Romanian Canadian. But he was literally everywhere. He had his thumbprints on songs by Drake, by Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar, I believe.
Wow.
No, sorry. That is the wrong person.
Oh, okay.
That is the wrong person. That's Boy Wendier, who's also goes by his real name's Matthew Samuels.
Boy Wanda.
Well. Pardon?
Wendy is Wanda.
Boy Wanda. Yeah, but Boy Wendier. Boy Wanda. But this was a Winnipeg studio engineer.
Okay.
No, that's another person.
Well, I mean,
Jesse Ray Ernster. But it's really interesting. It's the people who are behind the scenes, because
usually it's the behind the scenes people that do all the work, right?
Right.
They're the ones who make it what it is.
But we've had, Drake, Alanis Morissette, Alana Miles, Celine Dion, Justin Bieber, Diana Krall, Shania Twain. There was like one time we had like the number 1 jazz artist, country artist, rock artist, all at the same time, anywhere in the world.
Don't forget Nickelback. And I know people jump on them. I like Nickelback. I always have. I always will. And I was just at Canadian Music Hall of Fame in Calgary a few weeks back, and I was with my buddy, and they had a big thing because Nickelback had just been inducted into the Hall ofAme, and they had a big thing there. And I was talking to him, and I said, I like Nickelback. He goes, so do I. And I go, look, it's great rock and roll. And he goes, I said, the thing is, you've got this group of
great
people.
Stadium rock.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
They have flames, explosions. I mean, come on. There's a group of people that like to pick on them. And I'm like, the funny thing is, when you ask any of those folks, what are their thoughts on Bon Jovi? Oh, I love Bon Jovi. They're great. Oh, really? How about AC/DC? Love AC/DC. They rock. Yeah. And why do you hate Nickelback? All their songs sound the same. Really?
Mm-hmm.
But you love AC/DC and Bon Jovi, but you hate Nickelback because, okay, got it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for letting me know how much of an ignorant idiot you are.
Yeah. Now, the Serban Ganea guy, his work this year that got him noticed by the Grammys were with artists like Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, and Jean Baptiste, like three of the biggest names in music in the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And Taylor Swift longer, but the last 3-4 years. I mean, everybody wants to work with this guy.
Well, and Taylor Swift is her own universe. Like, she has her own gravitational pull. You realize that? I mean,
right.
She's a billionaire.
Right.
A billionaire in music. Do you know how almost impossible that is?
Yeah.
Not even the Stones at their biggest moment ever even dreamt of that. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. The Rolling Stones are very comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Led Zeppelin, who has not done anything in 43 years, very comfortable. Nobody's done what Taylor Swift has done. Nobody. Nobody.
No. The Serban Ganea guy, right? 3 of the songs that he worked on are nominated for Record of the Year.
Oh, wow.
Worship by Jean-Baptiste, Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo, and Antihero by Taylor Swift. 2 of them are nominated for Album of the Year, Guts by Olivia Rodrigo, Midnights by Taylor Swift. And then he also got into the Best Pop Dance Recording, Baby Don't Hurt Me by David Guetta and Anne-Marie with Coi Leray, and the Best Pop Dance Recording as well with One in a Million, BB Rexa and David Guetta, which won the Billboard Award as the dance recording that was the longest at number 1.
Wow.
He's literally been all over.
Well, and who made a bit of a comeback in dance this year? Kaisa.
Yes.
Happy to see her back. She had a severe car accident a few years ago. She almost died.
Yeah.
And she's recovered, thankfully, and she's back making music again, which I was happy about. I didn't get to see her, though. Even though she did play it at Pride this year, I was just too tired.
And the new story that made me the happiest is that Joni Mitchell managed to pick up another Grammy nomination for the Joni Mitchell at Newport Live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which was an unexpected thing. She was just supposed to come out and say hi to the crowd, and then she sang, and Brandi Carlile was like, let's just roll with it. It's Joni, we'll roll with it. And all the other, like Winona Judd, who else was on the stage with it? They're all like, yep, it's Joni. We'll just go. Joni's running the show, and we'll just play along. I thought that was really cool.
So at 80 years old, Joni Mitchell is a Grammy nominee.
That's got to be a record.
If not, I don't know. It's got to be damn close. And you know what? There's another record going on right now. Like, as I just saw it a couple of days ago. I think Dolly Parton, who's over 70, has the number 1 rock album.
Yes.
Can't remember her name. Scheer has the number 1 Christmas song with DJ Play Me a Christmas Song. And she's over 70. And Brenda Lee, is it Rocking Around the Christmas Tree?
Yeah, after 58 years.
Finally becomes number 1. You're never too old.
Well,
You're never too old.
Scheer,
70, it's the new 30.
So 25 years ago, Scheer, I believe, was her first number 1 hit in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very massive number 1 hit for her. Mm-hmm. She also changed things at the time because she was, I don't recall how old she was at the time, but it was the oldest person to ever have a number 1 pop hit at the time. And now we've got Dolly Parton, who is in pushing 80, she's 77, I think, who has a number 1 rock album, which is like the coolest thing ever. It's the coolest thing ever because who doesn't love Dolly Parton? I mean, when you showed me the video of Galantis, and then I went and looked at the behind the scenes, and the guy was like, yeah, I knew the song by John, and he says, I'm sorry, the guy who wrote it, and I don't remember his name, but he's like, they asked me if I wanted to work with Dolly Parton, and I was like, are you kidding me? Dolly Parton? Of course I want to work with Dolly Parton. That's a legend.
Yeah. Cher 77, Dolly Parton 77, Brenda Lee 79.
Wow. So,
you are never too old.
Don't give up.
There you go. I swear I'm gonna win my first Oscar when I'm 82.
You'd be like Christopher
Plummer.
Thank you. I wanted to say Wallace, but that was Big Papa, Notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls. Christopher Wallace, Biggie Smalls.
Maybe when I'm 80, I'll finally get cast in a rap video as a dancer.
The crazy old man dancers, you walking with your pants around your ankles. The old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be. Ain't what she used to be. Remember that from The Simpsons?
All right, kids and cubs, that's the end of our year-end retrospective shows. We hope that you love listening to us because we love making them for you. Remember, sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless, so please tell your peeps and poops all about us because we love the word of mouth that you give us. You spoil us. Thank you so very much. Yes. If you do
this
not
was only supposed to be a short show, too, and I think we're pushing close to 80 minutes right now.
I think so, yes.
We
had a lot to say.
Well, we're like, I got about what we can do, maybe 30, 35, 40 minutes at the most. But, we tend to babble.
We do. We got the gift of the gab.
Well, it's the Irish thing is what it is, you see.
They put a little Blarney Stone in that Guinness, I think.
Well, something.
If you do not want to miss an episode, when it comes gaily forward off the bandwidth, I almost said straight. Because you don't have to, thanks to the Ray Girl. If you take your little camera and get that little squiggly that's right under my chin, that brings you to our pod page, podpage.com/the-true-north-eager-beaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. And there you can subscribe. And if you like subscribing, well then, yes, Kit Elaine, we are thinking of you even though we're not live. You're on our minds. Make like Kit Elaine and go to the True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube website. And there we have not one, not two, not three, because hey, 'tis the season to smash buttons. Fa la 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 click. All right. Like, share, subscribe. And yes, you can do that. And if you still can't get enough because you love us so much and you need to do something and you've spent all your Christmas shopping money and everybody's got their gifts and you've taken care of everything that you needed to do at Boxing Day, you took care of those sales, you've done a little something good for the world, you got some left over still, hey, if you want to send it our way, no problem. That's squiggly by Mr. Grizzly's head. That brings you to our coffee page. That's coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, lowercase letters, all in one word. Oh, Mademoiselle Fox, you are rocking it. I love those earrings. I love the hair, the glasses, makeup, all of it. Oh, all of it.
Take these ones.
All
these
of it.
Ones. You need these ones. Sorry. I gave you the wrong headphones. Take those ones. Sorry.
Oops. The hair, the glasses, the makeup, the earrings, all of it. Oh,
no.
Girl. Oh, you're hurting me. Oh. The gays say yay.
Because I'm sorry I missed the earlier part of what you said, but I was just gonna say, like, you look super hot, like with that shirt and your hair down like that.
I got headphones in. I can hear.
It's a mutual adoration. It's exciting.
What are you doing tonight?
You look delicious.
I'm gonna go to the Ottawa Senators game and I'm gonna get backstage or whatever they do. No, I'm just kidding.
There's no backstage.
Behind the Zamboni.
Hello. It's going to be fun. It's going to be like, we have great seats and I don't even know who Sens are playing. I don't really care. Oh.
Sidney Crosby.
Okay, honestly.
That's going to be a good match.
Should be.
I wish that he had better thighs.
Sidney Crosby?
I have headphones in. I can hear you. Covering my ears. Thank you. You pushed them in further. I can hear better now.
What are you guys doing tonight?
We're getting ready to head off to the Richmond Hill area to
nice.
go be with family.
For Christmas, right? Yeah.
And if everything goes well, I think in my Christmas stocking may be some tickets to go see 42nd Street. I didn't know it was on.
Where? In
Toronto. Yeah,
cool.
At the Pantages Theatre, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
But like one of those old style musicals with a lot of the tap dancing, the little glitzy and lots of sequins and all that kind of stuff. I've always wanted to see one of those, and it's on. Like I said, I was like just tapping on the web, and it's like, how has this show been going on, and I wasn't aware of it anywhere?
I don't know.
This appeals to my inner sense of fabulousness. So, yeah, if I've been an extra good boy, I might get a bonus Christmas gift and get to go see 42nd Street over the next few days.
That is awesome.
That would be awesome. That would make me very happy, Beaver.
I need to know about your outfit show.
Okay. We'll talk.
Okay.
Okay. I'll share all my secrets.
Alrighty then.
Beauty tips from the Beaver. Anyway. So yes, Emergency Hydration Fund, our coffee page, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, lowercase letters all in one word. Please, if you can, that would be great. But if you can't, the gift of your attention and just telling people about us, very, very important. We appreciate that very much. Because democracy is something that you do, you probably won't be able to do it during the Christmas holidays, but remember your XBB shots, your flu shots, your pneumococcal shots, all of that. Please go get that. Little donation to the Red Cross if you have the opportunity to. And if after everybody's gone home or is too stuffed and you got a little time alone and you have a piece of paper and a pen handy, write a letter to your MPs and make sure that kids who are not getting enough food do.
Yeah, that's not rocket surgery, right?
It's not rocket surgery.
Just feed the children.
Yeah.
Don't be a ghoul.
It's kind of basic there, right?
It's not complicated. Just don't be a ghoul. Feed children. How difficult is that?
From the Beaver Lodge, this is your eager beaver raising a toast.
Yes,
to all of you kids and cubs.
It's ding.
Click.
Thank
you for a beautiful, beautiful 1990. Thank you. It's twice now I screw up the year.
Wow, dude, I just keep back 30 years.
Tonight we're going to go back into time.
Tonight we're going to party like it's 1993.
But thank you for a beautiful 2023.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all your attention, your generosity, your kindness. And here's to a spectacular, fabulous, and Beaveriffic 2024. Mr. Grizzly.
We'll see you live very soon.
Yes.
Words of wisdom. I hope everybody has a safe holiday season. I realize that we're, prior to Christmas when we're recording this, but I hope that everybody who decides to go out and go out on amateur night, as I call it, because I worked as a bartender, then I worked as a DJ for many, many years. New Year's Eve was always a working night for me. And then one night I had it off and I went out with some friends and I'm like, I don't ever want to do that again. It was horrible. I call it amateur night because people go out on New Year's Eve that only go out one night a year and they ask for songs that no DJ in his right mind would ever play, or her right mind would ever play, or their right mind would ever play. And then they don't tip and then they complain. It's amateur night. It's a terrible night to be somebody working in a bar on New Year's Eve. So if you happen to go out on New Year's Eve, be kind to your server, tip them well, be kind to the bus person, be kind to the door people, and be kind to the DJ, because I'm telling you right now, it is the worst night of the year to work in that industry. By far. By far. I mean, people will say in Ottawa, Canada Day, it's insane, but the difference is Canada Day, everybody's in a great mood. New Year's Eve, people are kind of miserable because it's cold. Usually really cold. It's usually the coldest night of the year. Or the most miserable. It's either freezing cold or freezing rain in Ottawa anyway. So be kind, be gentle, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. See you soon.
Take care.